Good evening. I want to welcome you to the Thursday, June 19th, I'm sorry, blind, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting. Commissioner Neal is going to do the invocation and Commissioner Sweat's going to do the pledge. Would you please stand?
Pray with me, please. Father, we just thank you for the privilege of living in this beautiful place. We thank you for your guidance. We pray, Father, for discernment in all that we do. We ask that you be with our first responders. We ask that you would be with our staff. And Father, be with us as we consider the decisions that we'll be taking up tonight. We pray that your hand would be upon us. We pray for your blessing. And we just give you thanks most of all for your son, Jesus. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Yes, we don't have any presentations tonight, so we'll move to number one. Consider adopting the proposed Glenn County FY 25-26 budget. Mrs. Munson.
Good evening, Commissioners. So we are ready to adopt the FY 26 budget. As y'all know, we've been working on this to prepare it for about 6 months. On June 6th, it was released to the public and to the commissioners for review. We had a public hearing on June 12th, and there were no public comments. And we've had multiple discussions. I've met with each one of you, and we've had multiple discussions on the budget. So if you have any questions, I'm available. All the information is on our homepage. And there were a few minor changes that have been made between the release date and today for some corrections and updates, which I emailed you all a list of those yesterday. And that same list is also included on our website. So nothing major that was changed. It was mostly just minor corrections.
And cleanups.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
Chairman, I have a motion. I move to adopt as submitted.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Munson. We have a motion, Commissioner Duncan, second by Commissioner Sweat, to approve the budget. All in favor, right hand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda for general business with the exception of any item a commissioner wishes to pull.
Second.
Okay, consent agenda for general business, motion and approved. All in favor? No against.
And, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve our consent agenda for finance with the exception of any item a commissioner wishes to pull.
Second.
No, okay. Motioned in second, all in favor? All righty, well, thank you. That was unanimous, Rhonda. Okay, first one we've got is a public hearing, number 46. I didn't miss anything. No. So, public hearings will be limited to 30 minutes for each opposing side, with 5 minutes allocated to each individual speaker. Comments are to be limited to relevant information regarding your position and should avoid being repetitious. If your group has a spokesperson, please allow that individual to present your group's position in the time allocated. Your cooperation in this process will be greatly appreciated. Number 46, consider the issuance of a provisional 2025 provisional alcoholic beverage license to Jai Lakshmi Lodging LLC, DBA Courtyard by Marriott, located at 580 Millennium Boulevard, Brunswick, Georgia. This provisional license is to sell beer, wine, and liquor for consumption on premises at a hotel lounge, and the retail package sales of beer and wine. Sunday sales are permitted. Krishni Patel, licensee.
Good evening, Commissioners. Stephanie Oliver on behalf of Chief Ebner. For the Glenn County Police Department, Mr. Patel is present in the audience. Nothing was discovered in his background that would preclude him from holding an alcohol license.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Okay, this is a public hearing. We're going to open, does anyone out there wishes to speak in favor of this license? Seeing none, we'll close that portion. Is there anyone opposed to, wants to speak in opposition to this license? None being seen, we'll close that section. Commissioners?
I'd like to offer a motion.
Go ahead.
I move to approve the issuance of a provisional 2025 provisional alcoholic beverage license to Hylax Mead Lodging LLC, DBA Courtyard by Marriott, located at 580 Millennium Boulevard, Brunswick, Georgia. This provisional license is to sell beer, wine, and liquor for consumption on premises of a hotel lounge and for retail package sales of beer and wine. Sunday sales permitted. Krishna Patel, licensee.
Second.
Okay, properly motioned and second. All in favor? It's unanimous, Rhonda. Thank you, sir. Number 47, consider the issuance of a provisional 2025 alcoholic beverage license to Bishrivnia LLC, doing business as Your Pie, located at 495 Canal Road, Brunswick, Georgia. This provisional license will sell malt beverages and wine for consumption on premises of a restaurant. Sunday sales will be permitted. Harold Patel, licensee.
Commissioners, I don't believe Mr. Patel is present this evening. Mr. Patel? No, sir.
So the applicant needs to be here for this hearing, and the board can either defer it now or wait till the end of the meeting, see if he shows up between now and then.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we defer this to the end of the meeting to have the opportunity if Mr. Patel arrives.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do we have to make a motion for that? Or just
It's appropriate, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, properly motioned and second. All in favor? It's unanimous, Rhonda. Thank you. All right, public hearing abandonment. AB 24-3, consider the abandonment of half of two 20-foot wide unnamed alleys located on the northwest and northeast corner of parcel 04-03263, 4226 3rd Street, St. Simons Island, Georgia. Aaron and Amy Stevens, applicants. Mr. Hartman.
Good evening, Commissioners. Jason Hartman, Engineering Director. Yes, this is abandonment 24-3, 4226 3rd Street. And the applicants are Aaron and Amy Stevens. This is for an abandonment of half of two 20 feet wide unnamed alleys located on the northwest and northeast of parcel 0403263. The address is 4226 3rd Street. And the west alley, as I'll show in my presentation, is labeled as number 1. And there's a north alley as labeled as number 2, as we'll look at the plat here in a few slides. The deed book is 3-R, page 312. The present use of this right-of-way is the west alley number 1 is intermittently used, and the north alley number 2 is unused. This section of the easement has been used as it is currently for several years. West alley number 1 is intermittently used by only utility companies and contractors. There is no evidence of north alley number 2 being used by the public. The public could benefit from using west alley number 1 for ingress and egress to 3rd Street and 4th Street. The public could benefit from using north alley number 2 for access to and from Dixon Lane. The benefit to the public in continuing usage would be that the public may continue to benefit from the ability to use the west alley number 1 for ingress and egress to 3rd Street and 4th Street and for access to adjacent parcels and or utilities. The benefit to the public in the abandonment would be that this abandonment would return the property to the tax digest. So as required by our ordinance, staff has reviewed the application from Aaron and Amy Stevens for the abandonment of one half of the open northwest alley number 1 and one half of the open northeast alley number 2, as shown on the next slide here. And in accordance to section 2-13-44, the Code of Ordinance, a public hearing will be held. That's why we're here tonight. So highlighted is the property location, 4226 3rd Street. If you see highlighted in red here, adjacent to their property would be Alley 1 that I referenced. I know we had a lot of language in there, but ultimately Alley 1 is a 20-foot wide alley in total. 10 feet for alley number 1 would go to the Stevens, and 10 feet of alley number 2 above would also go to the Stevens on the northern side of this page. The top alley is also 20 feet wide in total, so 10 and 10 on each side, and all the language that was presented. Here's some photos for alley number 2, looking in the east direction. This is the west direction view for alley number 2. This is the south direction on alley number 1 looking south. And this is the north direction looking view from alley number 1. So we also open up for utility comments during our process for an abandonment. Georgia Power would request an easement over the entire west alley number 1. And Glenn County would also like, and at Public Works, we would like to have a drainage easement over the entire alley number 1 and alley number 2 for any drainage concerns that we would have in the future, potentially out there at this location. This statement here, when we built the presentation, there were no public comments. We have an opportunity to give public comments in a 14-day window. We did receive 2 comments, and I'll read those and share those with you. But a Mr. Kevin Cooney had left a voicemail message with my engineer on Tuesday of this week. The call was called and returned yesterday on Wednesday to Mr. Cooney. He is at 4221 3rd Street. He's against this abandonment and plans to attend the BOC meeting here tonight. He also sent an email to one of our commissioners and leadership earlier this morning expressing his concern for this abandonment. And also a Mr. Tom McCabe left a voicemail on Tuesday of this week, and the call was returned to him yesterday to answer any questions that he had. He's not against the abandonment, but wanted to make sure that the Stevens were only acquiring half of the alley to understand the abandonment process. We've talked about this before, where there's a discrepancy about do they get the whole alley, and the answer is no. The Stevens would only get the 10 feet that I outlined in my presentation on each side of their property. These are motions to use for the future. In my motion, as I stated from the utilities and from Glenn County, we would like to request the easement over the entire West Alley number 1 for Georgia Power, and Glenn County Public Works to reserve a drainage easement over the entire West Alley number 1 and North Alley number 2. That's all I have for my presentation, and I know if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions, and I know we need to open this up to public comment as well.
Thank you, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
I do. Mr. Hartman, could you go back to the photos and the map of the parcel and give us an idea of the vantage point from where you took the photos or where the photos were taking?
Yes, sir.
Directions?
I'm just going to show the aerial view again to kind of get us in perspective. So this is 4226. One alley is along this corridor, and then one is along this leg here of their property. And in my next slide, you can see that we're calling this alley number 1 that was kind of the north-south direction on the last slide. This is alley number 2 on the east-west. And so keep in mind, alley 2 is on the east-west, alley 1 on the north-south. So in the photos, this is alley 2, this is looking east. So we were standing at this location and looking down this direction, taking the photo.
Okay.
The next photo would be standing at this location and looking this way in the west direction view. And then we have a looking north view from here and looking south view in that direction. And these will be the 2 photos associated with alley 1. So this is looking south and then looking north. Does that answer all your questions, sir?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
The gentleman that asked to deny it, do you know where he lives in relation to this?
Yes, sir.
You can go back to the picture, Jason. It
Let me
was
verify.
directly behind.
Yes, sir. Let me verify his address. So he's at 4221. So if we look back at this aerial view map,
Over and back, one.
4221 is right here.
You got
So-
2 of them.
You got 2 of them up there then.
Where's
Because
the other
if
one?
you look,
It's a different street.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Different
That's
street.
Third Street. So it's
Okay.
a Third Street.
Let me look at this property. We have an Excel spreadsheet. Give me 1 second. I'm going to verify that that's where he is.
I would guess it's off of Fourth.
it could be the other one, the one directly across the street. Because if it's Third Street. Was that other address Third Street, 4221 Third Street?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. 4221 Third Street.
It looks like directly across the street.
I believe, yeah. So this is accurate then. Third Street is running this way. So this is his property.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Anybody else questions? Okay, public hearing. Same rules apply. Anybody want to speak in favor of this abandonment? Would you please come forward? You'll have 5 minutes.
Commissioners, if they can look at these pictures, there's a big tree that's on the piece of property. There's nobody can walk, you know what I'm saying, drive or anything, but you can look at the pictures for yourself. But the other 10-foot has been used.
till you get to the microphone.
And you-
Okay,
And you
sorry.
need to state your name, please.
I'm Aaron Stevens. I love Glenn County and love St. Simons Island. So, but to get to the point, we're just wanting to have a setback on our property. We're not wanting to put a fence there or anything. It's just something that it's not been used by the public. The 10-foot that we have now, the other 10-foot is, but there's a tree that's growing in the middle of it, and it's about that big. So, in the east, you know where we're getting. So, and that's on the what side would that be called? The longer side of the house.
That the north side, Jason?
North side, right.
And maybe he can show me the tree there. It's not been used. The other 10-foot has been used.
Was any of those photos, did those have the tree in those photos that we took?
I didn't see a tree.
know.
I saw a van, and it looked like in an alley.
Okay.
It's not, and the other side of the alley has like bamboo growing. There's the big tree right there where you can see the green plant, the second green plant. There's a tree there. It's probably 3 foot across. Right there, yeah. Which you can see they have been using the other 10-foot or 8-foot or whatever, you know, to,
Is that where Georgia Power wants easement? Jason? And the county? Because it looks like that's being used.
Yeah, like I said, utility companies and contractors have accessed this area to service the pole, and they need the 10-foot easement over that area to continue to access that area for utilities.
I think that's all I have to say. Like I say, that's been, last 6 years we've owned it, nobody's ever used that 10-foot. And on the backside, we try to keep we try to keep it clean. Nobody, you know what I'm saying, hasn't did anything for the last 6 years to it. We just feel that we could do a better, you know, on our end, keep it the way it is, so.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak in favor? Okay, we'll close that section. Anyone that's opposed to this abandonment, please come forward, state your name. Seeing none, we'll close that portion. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the AB-24-3 with the following conditions: that Georgia Power reserves the easement over the entire West Alley 1, and Glenn County to reserve the drainage easements over the entire West Alley 1 and North Alley 2.
Second.
Okay, properly motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next one is number 50? Yeah. Or no? 24, okay, 24-6. I lost my spot. Consider the abandonment of half of an unopened, unimproved, 12-foot wide, unnamed alley running east and west along the southern boundary of parcel 04-15640, 1306 Demery Road, St. Simons Island. Mark Kuniski and Tracy Ellis applicants. Mr. Hartman?
Thank you, sir. Yes, this is for abandonment 24-6 at 1306 Demery Road. And like what was just stated, the applicants is Mark Kaczynski and Tracy Ellis. This abandonment is for half of the unimproved 12-foot wide unnamed alley running east and west along the southern boundary of parcel 04-15640. As stated earlier, the address is 1306 Demery Road. This is for 0.02 acres for the area. The source of title is Plat Deed Book 35, page 454. The present use of right-of-way is that this is unused, unimproved easement. Any past history that we have is that this section of the easement has been used as it currently has for several years. There's no evidence of the alley being used by the general public. Potential use for the future would be that the public could benefit from the ability to use the unnamed alley for access to adjacent parcels and/or utilities. The benefit to the public in continuing usage would be the public will continue to benefit from the ability to use this alley for east and access to adjacent parcels or utilities. The benefit to the public in the abandonment would be that the abandonment would return property to the tax digest. As required by this ordinance, our ordinance at Glenn County, the staff has reviewed the application from Mark Kaczynski and Tracy Ellis for the abandonment of the unopened alley as shown on the next slide with the survey. In accordance with section 2-1344 Code of Ordinance, a public hearing will be held. That's why we're here tonight to discuss this abandonment. This is a slide showing the aerial view, much like in my last presentation, of the property location. This is along Demery Road on St. Simons Island. You can see the highlighted area is the property. Just to put things in perspective on the coming slide, this abandonment alley is only 12 feet wide. So Mr. Kaczynski and Ms. Ellis is only asking for 6 feet for half of the abandonment area adjacent to their property line right here. So this is highlighted in red would be the abandonment area. Like I said, it's 6 feet across, total of 12 feet for the alley. I've got a couple of pictures here. This would be looking east, showing the alleyway there. And this would be the western view looking west. So utility comments on this one was the JWSC request that Glenn County reserve a 10 feet wide easement. So this is over, like I said, the alley is 12 feet wide. JWSC needs 10 feet wide of easement to accommodate their infrastructure or access there as part of this proposed abandonment. Georgia Power also wants a 10 feet wide easement across this area past the 6 feet. So a total of 10 feet for both JWSC and Georgia Power. We had one public comment. This was another property owner that's in the area, or the adjacent property owner, and he wants an open easement over the entire abandonment area for future utilities to serve his properties located at 1308 Demery Road and 520 Arnold Road. There's really no other way to access his property, and basically he's just requesting that utilities can continue to be able to access through this area, just much like we talked about before over the easements, to have over the alleyway and the abandonment, to have an easement over that area so additional utilities can come in and access that area. So these are your possible motions after we get, go through the process here. But the recommendation is that we approve 24-6 with the following, outlining the 10 feet wide easement from JWSC and Georgia Power to have the 10 feet wide easement. And then on the last slide about adjacent property owner to have an open easement over the entire abandonment area to help serve his property at 1308 Demery Road and 520 Arnold Road. That's everything I have for my presentation. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything regarding this abandonment.
Thank you, Mr. Hartman.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, gentlemen? No. Nobody? No. Okay. Here we go with the public hearing. Anybody that is opposed to this abandonment, will you please come forward and state your name? You'll have 5 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move to anybody that wants to speak in favor of the abandonment. Please come forward, state your name.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm Mark Kaczynski, a little bit nervous. I'm in favor, of course, because we own the property next door. I agree with the 10-foot easement next door. The other side of the property between 1306 and 1310 has a 25-foot easement on that side as well. So the only thing would be is I would just ask if it would be considered to move the electrical to that side as well to put the easement through there, because they're also going to dig a 6-foot trench through that side to take the sewer back to the house 1308 behind us. Thank you for your consideration. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else want to speak in favor? Seeing none, we'll close that portion. Commissioners?
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve AB-24-6 with the following conditions. Reserve of future access to the adjacent parcel of Glenn County Joint Water and Sewer. Commission requests Glenn County reserve a 10-foot wide easement to the Brunswick Glen Joint Water and Sewer within the unnamed lane as part of the proposed abandonment. That Georgia Power be granted a 10-foot wide easement, and the adjacent property owner, Harold Ira Porter, requests to leave an open easement on the entire abandonment area for future utilities to serve his properties at 1308 Demery and 520 Arnold.
Se-
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Neal. Who did second? Both. Commissioner Clark. Okay, been properly motioned and second. All in favor? It's unanimous, Rhonda. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move to,
Want to go back to, Mr. Patel, if you want to go back to 47 now, or go through the other part.
no, let's do this. Number 47, we're going to move back to that one. Consider the issuance of a provisional 2025 alcoholic beverage license to Ms. Rivnia LLC, doing business as Your Pie, located at 495 Canal Road, Brunswick, Georgia. This is a provisional license to sell malt beverages and wine for consumption on premises of a restaurant. Sunday sales permitted. Harold Patel, licensee.
Mr. Patel is present in the audience. There's nothing in his background to prevent him from holding a license.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
All right, this is a public hearing. Anybody that wants to speak against this, would you please come forward, state your name? You'll have 5 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move to anybody want to speak in favor. Come forward, state your name, you'll have 5 minutes. Seeing none, we'll close both sessions. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion. I move to approve the issuance of a provisional 2025 alcoholic beverage license to Ms. Ravinda LLC DBA Your Pie, located at 495 Canal Road, Brunswick, Georgia. This provisional license is to sell malt beverages and wine for consumption on premises of a restaurant. Sunday sales permitted. Harold Patel, licensee.
Second.
Okay, we have motion Commissioner Sweat, second Commissioner Duncan. All in favor, right hand. Thank you, sir. All right, let's move to number 50. This is land use public hearing, ZM 25-8, 1423 Union Hall rezone. Consider of a change of zoning request for approximately 7.17 acres from freeway commercial to highway commercial. Highway commercial to allow the development of a Union Hall, property located at 2688 Highway 17 South, I guess parcel number 02-00902, Latasha Green Cobb Empowerment Action Corp., agent for the estate of James Hopkins, owner. Kay Wright.
Good evening, and
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am.
Christina Wright, Senior Planner. ZM 25-8 for ILA 1423 Union Hall is a request to rezone from FC Freeway Commercial to HC Highway Commercial for property at 2688 Highway 17. It is approximately 7.17 acres, and it's currently vacant and undeveloped. Here is an image of the property outlined in red. As you can see, the property's proximity to Highway 17 as well as the I-95 interchange. Here's the zoning map reflecting the current zoning of FC Freeway Commercial. Here is the character area map indicating its designation as Southwest Glen, which is described as an area expanding in commercial development due to that proximity to Highway 17, I-95, as well as the port. So here's an image looking east from the right-of-way in front of the property on Highway 17. Here's an image looking west towards the I-95 interchange. Here's an image looking north into the vacant and undeveloped parcel. And here's an image looking south across the street to the commercial development across 17. Here's an image of the survey for the site and the conceptual plan indicating its approximate layout, square footage, and parking. This is the right-of-way conveyance plat indicating the right-of-way that runs parallel with Highway 17. In summary, the Mainland Planning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend approval at the June 3rd meeting. The applicant will coordinate with the Georgia Department of Transportation and will provide a full traffic study during the site plan process. Here are your possible actions in motion. And unless there are any questions, that concludes the staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. Any questions?
Ms. Wright, this is considered a down zone.
That's correct.
Normally, we view that as something positive, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you.
Could you point out the access and egress for me again?
So on the conceptual, you can see the stub out towards that right-of-way that has been conveyed parallel to 17.
Could you speak up just a little bit?
Yeah, you can see the stub out on the conceptual plan to that portion of the right-of-way that was conveyed parallel to Highway 17.
Okay. Yep. Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? No question?
I have a comment when you get to that point.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to open the public hearing. Anyone that is opposed to this zoning change, would you please come forward, state your name? Seeing none, we'll move to anyone that wants to come up and speak in favor.
Good evening, everyone. I am Latasha Green Cobb. As it was stated, I represent Ms. Mutchinson, who is the personal representative for the estate of James Hopkins, but that is exclusively as it relates to the project for ILA 1423. We are in favor for this project. We're asking that the commission consider transferring it from freeway commercial to highway commercial. We have considered the traffic generation memo, anything that Mr. Granados or anyone in any of the disciplines within permitting and licensing, we've cooperated. So we are asking for the approval of this. We do realize that there may be sometime in the future some type of signalizing or a roundabout in order to make that happen. We do have a request, though, if there are any commissioners who have operated with the seller or buyers in this process for this particular project, that we would ask that they abstain from voting on this. If you have any questions for me, please do so.
What was the reason to abstain? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
If any commissioner has given an offer to the seller, Ms. Mutchinson, or anyone within that estate, or if any commissioner has worked with the buyers, an affiliate or officer of ILA 1423, in order to look for a property, we are asking that they abstain from this vote.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Any
Okay.
other questions for us?
So do you have any questions? Nobody?
I do have a question.
Go ahead, Bob.
In just looking at the a proposed site plan or preliminary, the example, how many of those each of those cars is represented probably by one member. What would be the peak traffic that would enter and exit on an hourly basis to visit the Union Hall?
There are 293 parking spaces, but much of what happens with the Union is before a lot of the normal traffic occurs. So the time that we're really thinking may be of some concern is the 12 noon time, when a lot of the workers are coming in order to get their assignment. But they come in and then they go out for their assignment elsewhere.
So the activity could be as many as the Union Hall supports, 293 people, for example.
Yes, sir, but we also want to reference the fact that many of the members already come into that area. Many of the members are residents in that area. So they're already in that space. As you know, the port isn't too far from this particular property.
Understand, but they would all be reporting to the Union Hall?
Yes, sir.
In and out from there for their assignments?
Yes, sir. Much of it is before most people are operating, so 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? No? Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else want to come up and speak in favor?
Good evening, Commission, and all in attendance. My name is Karen Polite. I am a local Georgia real estate professional. I was born and raised here in Brunswick. In addition to, I am a local 1423 member. I am currently representing local 1423 as the real estate professional in this transaction. And just to add to Attorney Green Cobb, our work hours, again, I am a member, an active member, participating in work here. Our work hours are 6 a.m., or our shape up, it says 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 12 noon, and potentially 6 p.m. We have approximately 293 parking spaces allotted for this space, this development. However, our work shifts, it may be much less, it could be a little more. So at no given time, can we stand here and say that every day it's going to be 293, 153, or 330 members? It depends on the demand of our port. And as you all know, we're proud to say that we are the #1 car port along the southeast, and I stand corrected if we're not, if I am in error, the #1 car port in the United States. So yes, we're looking to move to this location where we already are here. We're active participants and supporters, not only at this port, but every business along this corridor. I have sold many of my union and non-union members homes in this community. This family is looking, and when I say family, I mean our union family. We're looking to find a new home. We found a parcel that we want to make ours, and we're hoping that the commission will agree with us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else want to come speak in favor?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is...
No, you need to come to the podium and state your name, please, sir. Thank you.
My name is Richard Nixon. I'm the District Vice President for the ILA, former president for the ILA. For years, we've been having problems with wherever we pick a spot. And right now, we're generating a lot of revenue into the community. We pay a lot of taxes and so forth, but we've always had to fight about where we could purchase property or have our hiring hall. And everywhere that we had the hiring hall, it was a traffic problem. With all the taxes and stuff that we pay here in Glenn County, most of the longshoremen cannot even go on vacations and all of that because of the fact that we're working and we're paying taxes. So we humbly request that you all support us this time when it comes to us looking for another property to stay out of the way, because the complaints are still the same in every neighborhood that we move in. And that's the only point I want to make to you all. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else want to come speak in favor? Going once, going twice. Okay, we're going to close that section. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I've got a couple of things I'd like to say. You know, I support the idea of the Union Hall, especially in my district. It cuts down on traffic coming from downtown to Colonel's Island Port, which is good for the county. However, this particular piece of location is not appropriate due to the seriousness of traffic concerns there already. Highway 17 already faces significant congestion, and it's going to add to a larger venue with nearly 300 parking spaces that will only make it worse. This site's main exit requires a left turn onto Highway 17. There's no traffic light, no turn lane, no improvement plans scheduled. This creates a clear and safety risk, places a burden on an already overworked corridor. The use in itself may be reasonable, but the infrastructure does not support it here. I'm willing to work with the applicant for a better site location. Bottom line is the project needs the right site, not just a site.
Mr. Chairman, I would just say that I'm not going to be allowed to vote on this because I want to adhere to their request. Because I did work with Ms. Polite and some of the leadership to try to find them another site. I think they deserve it, but I'll be not voting on this.
Ma'am, with public comments over with, I'm sorry.
Am I able to respond to a comment that the commissioner made?
No, ma'am. We break our own rules. No, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add that we definitely support our port. We certainly support this union. But I have to agree with Commissioner Tostison, that particular intersection, when you have the influx of, in round numbers, 300 cars that are trying to get out through that intersection at one time, especially at the noon and 6 p.m. hours, it would be an unsafe condition for that. I support Commissioner Tostison in trying to help find a different location for you. I think your proximity to the port is very important. I support that. But I just think this particular intersection, unless you could find a way to go through the back and come back out at a traffic signal, that would remove my objections to it. But where that is, I think will create a dangerous position.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Mr. Chairman. I've got a little bit more background dealing with the fact that I've been in and around the ports for 30 years and have friends within the ILA. And this union here has been nothing more than neighbors and friends to this community since the very first time they took a Hugo off a ship in 1987. They have a significant challenge at their current location on 4th Avenue. Their membership right now is approaching 600. The state of Georgia has committed nearly $30 million for improvements at Colonel's Island. They have bought in to exit 29 it's going to be tied to the port. I think I speak for all of us, we don't want to see another truck stop at exit 29. But these guys and ladies, the understanding, IAP, WWL, Ports of America, 7 or 8 stevedore companies rely on these gentlemen and ladies to unload these vehicles. They have to go through a process of a lay down at 6 a.m. They don't have room at 4th Avenue. They've looked at Credle property, that's a no-go. They've looked at other properties in that area, no-go. I believe if we do not pass this and allow them to have this out here, because it will hamper all those production facilities out there, including myself who work for a trucking company, because without them unloading these vehicles, we don't have a port. That's how important it is. As far as traffic, we all know how DOT is. They are very difficult to deal with, but they're doing a lot of investment in Glenn County. Because of the port, we got that red light at Colonel's Island. It took the people that work out there. We've got over 1,000 employees. This is just not impacting, and I appreciate the folks that showed up tonight. You know, that location, 2 months ago, we decided we'd put a car wash right beside it, commissioners. Car washes have a lot more traffic than this will. You'll have traffic at 6 a.m., most people are still in their bed. They're heading down to the port, 6:30 or so to go. 12 o'clock, they'll be back. When they get off at lunch, they don't leave 29, they go to Gary Lee's, they go to Fishtails, they go to McDonald's, Burger King, Subway. They go all these locations. They buy their gas at Flying J. The cars are already there. This is not like an apartment where you're bringing and putting an apartment and a houses in there, where you're bringing state people from Iowa, North Carolina, New Jersey. That's not this. The traffic is there. These folks eat at Subway. They eat at Fishtails. They're already there. So there's the argument that this is going to increase traffic is way off base. I appreciate Commissioner Thompson and his comments, but they're here. They've been here. They are an asset to this community. They are taxpayers. They all have a TWIC badge. I have one. It's a federal background. You have to go through some pretty stringent things to get it. So I ask my commissioners, my humble ask is, let's not tell these folks no again. Let's help grow this port. It's number one. And in a few years, when they widen that port, we're going to have vessels coming in here that have 8,000 cars on them. And I can tell you right now, if the Port Authority was here, the longer that ship sits there waiting on these guys to unload it, the more money it costs. And the quicker we get the cars off, the quicker they can be processed, the quicker they can get on my trucks or Hanson Atkins trucks and get on down to the dealership. Exit 29 is a port exit. It is the gateway to Jekyll Island, but it is a bigger cog in the part of being part of the largest roll-on, roll-off in the nation, and I'm proud of that. And I believe humbly ask my commissioners to let's let them have this Union Hall. Let's put it in location. DOT will see a need, and if they do see a need, we'll get a red light out there somewhere. But I think the time is now. I'd rather it be this than apartment complex where it would hamper traffic, because those people are not here yet, or houses or whatever it is. These are our neighbors, they're taxpayers, and I just humbly ask my commissioners to support this project. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I do support this. I want to make sure this is clear, but I'm going to adhere to their request.
Mr. Chairman, I stand with my comments that I made. I live out in that area. I'm familiar with the conditions that are out there, and I stand with my comments. And with all that being said, if there's no more discussion, I'd like to make a motion.
Well, I know that DOT was asked about a traffic light there, and the answer was no, it was too close to the other traffic light. Will they change their mind? Maybe, but probably. In my 5 trips to Atlanta to see the DOT, they have a mind of their own. I'm kind of confused. If there were another way out to a light, but there's not a light anywhere close by until you get down to where the QT and Blue Beacon are, right? Am I correct?
Well, I believe if QT hadn't come in there and did the way they did, that frontage road would have went all the way to that red light. And that was hindsight's 20/20, but I believe that should have been a frontage road, which would, again, help with this situation. But again, it's not the property owners or anyone's fault. And I go back to my other, if this was an apartment or townhouses or something like that, we wouldn't, it's an asset to the community, it's an asset to the port, and it's, they're 10 miles versus with this, it would be 2 miles, and they got 12 parking places at 4th Avenue. There's a school within 2 blocks. It's a mess down there. It's a mess. So, again, there will not be more traffic than there is now, because they're already out there, folks. So, thank you.
Commissioner Clark, my comment was not that it's traffic dispersed over, it's the condensed time when they would be coming out of that hall and trying to get on the road. There would be so many of them at one particular time, at one particular spot. I appreciate very much that they live in our area. They are our citizens. They do pay taxes, and we want to support them. But is there any way that we can find another way out of this parcel to get to an area that would have more controlled access? That's where my concern lies.
I would like to echo those concerns. I can't, it sounds to me like there's concern primarily, if I understand, over a left-hand turn onto the highway. And I really can't see it from this, but.
Move that, Jason.
I'm sorry, I thought it was previous, but I thought I saw an image on one of these slides that showed the intersection of the road here.
You were pretty close on that one where it showed the front of the businesses that are there.
Okay. Is that the one you guys want to look at?
That's pretty good.
And where's the closest red light to that area?
To the interstate, it'd be to the left of that image. As Commissioner Clark said, had there been hindsight, a frontage road in front of the QT, it could have gotten them down to a traffic signal there. But where this is, I don't believe GDOT will ever allow like there. There's a good possibility it could eventually be a traffic light at Andy Tostison intersection because it's further away from the other lane. But
Okay, that's a good look. Seems to be a good look.
Yeah.
That's much better.
Yeah, the light is right there at this point of work.
the traffic lights where the expanded intersection is, they're just south of the interstate interchange there.
Okay.
Right, there's the light.
Okay.
This is that news station that's there, well, Blue Beacon.
Yeah, that's where the QT
Andy
is.
Tostison's down toward the bottom.
And Andy Tostison's there. And see, if you'd had a frontage road running all the way along there,
Or back toward the QT, it would have been ideal.
If GDOT ever did come in and put a red light at Andy Tostin, you could come all the way across in front of the Dairy Queen at service station, come all the way down, and you could do that. But again, we just, if I'm not correct, and y'all correct me, and there a car wash going next door to this property?
That
And
is
we
where
didn't-
it is, but that traffic isn't concentrated at one specific time. The one specific time, or several times a day, is where my concern is.
Yeah.
If if there's several hundred cars trying to leave, there will be people taking chances to try to get across the lane of traffic to get out. That's where my concern is.
Jason?
It's not 300 more cars at that interchange over the course of a day. That's not what I'm referring to at all.
Jason, can you go back to where it shows where the frontage road stopped?
You tell me if it needs to go back or
Right
forward.
there, go back, right, either one, that one or the one that one or the one before. Is there any chance of that frontage road running down to Andy Tostin?
I think that's something that we need to put before our planning commission to require that as part of the master plan of that adjoining tract so that it could eventually. But we don't know what that timetable is. And I believe it would behoove the development of that property to the south of it to have that frontage road so it would have out parcels and things.
Right. All right, any other comments, gentlemen? I'll entertain a motion, please.
Would you put the motions back on the board? With all the discussion being said, I And pursuant to section 1107 of the Glenn County Code of Ordinance, the Board of Commissioners shall make a motion that we deny this proposed zone decision.
And I'll second.
All right, gentlemen, we have a motion to deny with a second. All in favor? Anybody for? Okay, how about opposed? Commissioner Clark? Okay, thank you. Yeah, and Rhonda, Commissioner Booker abstained. All right, number 51, consider appointing one citizen to serve on the Department of Family and Children Services Board. Term begins July 1st, 2025 and ends June 30th, 2030. Applicants are Sophia Beta, Sharonda Boggs, Hannah Brown, Jackie Bryant, Shelley Cyphers, and Jacob LaBrasse.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jackie Bryant.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. Any others? Motion to appoint Jackie Bryant. All in favor?
Vote, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you. Number 52, appoint one citizen to serve on the Department of Family Children Services Board. Term begins August 1st, 2025, ends July 30th, 2030. The applicants are Sophia Bata, Sharonda Boggs, Hannah Brown, Jackie Bryant, we got to take that one off, and Shelley Cyphers and Jacob LaBrasse.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to appoint Jacob LaBrasse.
Second.
How about Commissioner Booker?
I make a motion to appoint Sharonda Boggs.
Okay. So we'll vote on Jacob LaBrasse first. Aaron, correct?
Correct.
And then second on the others. Okay. All right, all in favor of Jacob LaBrasse? Sammy? Bo? Nobody? All right. All right.
What we're voting on?
Now, we're voting on,
What was that vote count?
oh, vote count was 4-3.
You don't have to go any further.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. Nobody signed up for public comment? Mr. Attorney, do we have anything for executive session?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to adjourn, properly motioned in second. All in favor? Thank you. We're adjourned.